That's good. Right? Now, what I want you to observe, and I want Mimi to start to feel, is that I can do this in two ways. Mimi can do it by lifting her leg out to the side. So just literally pick up your leg and just that way. That's it. Now do the other one. Excellent. Good. Or she can do it by just lifting the pelvic bone. Don't use your leg. Just the pelvis. Just the pelvis. Nah, she brain wants to do it from the knee. You see that? That's from the knee. Okay, maybe let me do it. I can show. It's probably easier for me to show. This guy doesn't have a leg. So I can do it by this action, or I can do it by this action. So I do it by my leg. Right? That's leg. Right? If I do it by the ilium, it's that.
So the legs really...
Leg is just hanging there. Right? I'm just hanging my leg. Right? I'm just hanging the leg. The leg is hanging. The pelvis is lifting. That's leg. That's pelvis. 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 Leg. In other words, what am I doing? I'm lifting from, this is the outside. Right? This is that action. I want the uncoiling. I want to uncoil from the inside, not lift from the outside. I'm coming into the inside. I'm taking into the juicy, vulnerable part, and I'm letting it release instead of staying on the outside and trying to yank. Right? So the pelvis, I want to open like the flower. I want to open it this way, not that way, not this way. This is the dilemma. We try and open the body. What does it mean to open the body? You don't take the outer body and pull on it. You invite the inner body to feel safe enough to come out. If it doesn't feel safe, it's not going to come out.
How does this relate to SI joint stability or instability?
Very much so. Absolutely. Because what will happen is that if we can differentiate the pelvis and the femur very articulately, we don't have to overwork the sacrum. If we don't know where the hip ends and the sacrum begins, we often try to make movement from the sacrum that's supposed to come from the hip. And that's where the sacrum instability comes. We're moving it too much, or we're stabilizing it by holding on to the sacrum because the body doesn't feel safe. What you want to feel is this is just ilium. That's just the pelvic bone. As I get a little bit further, I can actually feel pubis. I'm taking the pubic bone, I'm moving the pubic bone. Moving the pubic bone, moving the pubic bone. I can take the pubic bone, and I can take the disc with it. I can take the pubic bone and leave the disc behind. So this is a little more stable, move the disc with it, this is a little more stable.
The disc is the bigger part.
The disc is this piece. So I can move from here, I can lift from here, or I can lift from both of these.
And your intention in cultivating this awareness is?
The more freedom of movement, the more options you have. The more options you have, the more likely you are to find the healthy, effortless movement. So if you don't have a whole lot of choice and you ask your body to do something unusual, it's probably going to go to a default state, which is the wrong, or the thing that actually makes the body hurt more.
What creates the soreness? Like I have a lot of soreness in here. Is that
Probably,
what you're talking?
probably because we're afraid of falling forward.
Okay.
So our sense of my sense of self is that I need to hold on. I don't feel connected to ground. I don't feel spacious and open. I have to hold on.
When you're biking, are you using those areas in your leg?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Me
But
personally,
how
I'm not a
you
big biker.
initiate.
I'm not a big biker. Ideally, it's all initiated from the core line, the core sutra, as Doug would say, or the deep front line, as Tom Myers would say. In the accessory muscles, the quadricep, the hamstring, are just providing energy to feed the action. If you're trying to do them from the quadriceps will fatigue, they'll get burned. They're phasic muscles, not tonic muscles. You know there's between phasic and tonic muscles? Yeah. Phasic muscles are fast twitch. They're designed to deliver bursts of energy. They burn oxygen very quickly and anaerobically. So they're very inefficient. They build up lactic acid. Tonic muscles are designed for very slow twitch. They're designed to sustain flow over long periods of time. They're much more efficient. They're aerobic. In other words, they don't leave behind lactic acid. They burn energy very smoothly, very cleanly. But they're designed for just sustaining things for long periods of time. They're the basic tone of the body. Right? So if I want to jump, it's the phasic muscles that, boom, give me a burst. Right? If I want to do a quick lift, if I have to do something sudden, boom, it's a phasic muscle. If I want to just sustain a continuous movement for longer periods of time, I want the tonic muscles to be the dominant muscles. And the phasic muscle is just there to provide a little extra energy to create the movement. So they have very different functions. The average person is not 50-50. Some people have more phasic, some people have more tonic. depending on genetics and all kinds of other things. But all of us have both. Some muscles have more phasic versus tonic. Some muscles have more tonic versus phasic. Some muscles are almost all tonic. Some muscles are almost all phasic. But it varies tremendously across individuals. All right, so what you guys are going to do is you're going to try and feel leg, pelvis, pelvis, leg, pelvis. And then if you can you differentiate, there's the pubis, and then just next to the pubis is something else. So if I go a little bit further, I actually start to feel a space opening up here. That's just a space where I'm moving from. But because I'm moving from there, I don't have to hold on anywhere. Once the body feels free in movement, right, there's no sense that I have to crank and pull. Right? That's the center. It just moves. Just moves. 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 So it gives you a place where you feel very free through. There's that gate way into the groin, the gate way into the body. And it's a place that we don't like to move from.
Are you suggesting that's the place we should be walking?
We should always be walking from the center, from the core, from the place of least effort. What's the most efficient way to work? The place that takes the least amount of energy. I don't want to feel like I'm carrying this heavy weight called myself around, right? Because there is no self. We'll save that for another day. My foot out to the side, my diaphragm is going to stretch. Open the diaphragm.
Is it your diaphragm or is it the structures around
So
it?
you want
Everything.
Diaphragm as well?
Everything. Hopefully. Diaphragm, everything's attached to everything else. That's what's amazing about the body. The body is integral to itself. So if I move my ribs, the part of the diaphragm attached to the ribs is going to move. And the abdominal wall is going to move. The lining of the pericardium is going to move. My pleura can start to move. I can actually get my pleura to move. If I get in there.
So you can initiate it from the diaphragm out,
Yeah.
or is it the structural movement that's bringing the diaphragm?
Diaphragm is a muscle, so you can initiate it from the muscle. Once the body gets integrated, you can initiate movement anywhere. You can access any reference point. But see if you can feel it with your feet. You really have to feel it.